to you. Here we go again. Okay, we restarted.
Yep.
So let me go back. So the Arts Awards was amazing, and high five to Ife for being my hype person, because she made sure that people got on that red carpet, and it was glorious. And if she didn't do that, people would not have gotten on that red carpet, and many people would not have gotten on the red carpet. So I just want to thank her for that. She's a great hype man. And she looked amazing in her pink fancy jumpsuit and fur stole. Looked great. So everybody looked great. Markeisha had on sequins pants and a boot. I mean, she looked, and she had her head tied, and she had her hat to the side. I mean, everybody was looking like art fabulous. Everybody was, you know what? It's been a long time since people dressed up and people wanted to be dressed up. I mean, there were some people who didn't really who didn't follow the memo, but for the most part, most people followed the memo. Anyway, I did see Heart of the Fall, and then I watched the milkshake gunpowder milkshake with Angela Bassett, a bunch of other people. That was kooky. I watched it though. I enjoyed it. I like women. I like women who could kick some butt. And these were old dogs kicking butt, right? You know, Angela Bassett and her contemporaries. It was good. So I enjoyed that very much. So that's what I did. I didn't get a chance to see the talk at the Yale Schwartzman Center Sunday. I don't know why. I guess because I was a Hallmark junkie. I was doing that, and I made soup yesterday. I made a Tuscan cannellini soup, Harry. I soaked beans the night before, tomatoes, onions, broth. I mean, it was delicious. I popped over the edge of the woods and got some sourdough bread. I was all in. So that was my meal. So that was Sunday. And then this morning I wake up to the feds knocking on my door. How's Sway, Babz? What Sway, Babz?
Wait,
was they coming for you, Babz? No, they were not coming for me. My son got arrested this morning.
Oh,
by the feds. And you know the feds come, Harry. They come like Biden is riding with them. You know, they come 10, 15 deep. And I open the door because somebody banging on my door, and I'm thinking, and you know how we say in the neighborhood, Harry, banging on my door like the popo. Well, it was the popo. It was the super popo. I was like, and Brianna was like, Mom, somebody banging. I was like, I know, I hear that. I get up and I go marching to the door like the Wicked Witch of the West. I was like, who the hell's knocking on the door? I thought it was my son locked himself out. I opened the door. My son is in handcuffs and the FBI is standing there. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Was he wearing a MAGA hat?
No, they can't do that in the FBI. Not in this town. So let me tell you the perks and the cons of being kind of a celebrity. And I never think of myself as a celebrity. You know what I think of myself, Harry? As somebody who is well known. Like people, there's no mistaking me, right? Oh, can I just tell you? I had on a gold lame dress. So I had on a gold lame dress for Friday night with this purple hair. I looked like an Oscar that was given to a Q or something. I mean, I look like an Oscar statue. FYI. But anyway, back to the popo this morning.
Wait. Before you go to the popo, let me just clear something up because I'm well known. You're a celebrity, right?
No. I'm just well known.
No. People never know how to feel about me. So they recognize me and they just go. They never know how to feel about me. You're a celebrity. They go, Babz!
Silly. So they bang on my door. I get up, and I'm like, I'm going to my door. I'm like, it's like, it's knocking on my door. It's 7:45 in the morning, Harry. And I'm thinking, I was like, if my son locked himself out, I'm gonna cuss him out right the hell now? I open the door, it's like 6 FBI people on my porch, and my son standing there with no shoes on, handcuffed, and the lead officer. And I look out on the street, they done got the street blocked, they got cars, the whole nine, Harry. Like I'm in a movie. Like, I'm thinking to myself, did my son kill somebody? Like, oh Lord, this boy done killed somebody. He done got caught up in some old drug mess or whatever. None of that. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because it's so ridiculous. And he gets whatever he deserves, whatever the hell he gets for this foolishness. So anyway, I'm talking to the officer. He tells me the thing. He shows me some evidence. He talks to me, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I listened to you in the morning." Wait,
Yeah.
by the way, I listened to you in the mornings.
He probably shook his head at Harry.
And then the other lady, the other officer, other FBI agent, she's like, "Oh yeah, I like your hair." Like, that is really good. Thinking to myself, this is the most surreal moment of my life. Like, what is happening here? So he's gonna need some shoes. We gotta take the shoelaces out. We gotta take him downtown to federal court. He's gonna raid. He'll probably be back to either pick him up, and then he saw my face, or he could get home however way he could get home. And that's that. So I called his father. I called his other siblings, and I called some other relatives. Like, this is what's happening. I don't run from anything, Harry. But this is a journey he got to take on himself, because this is a lesson he should have learned the first time he did this mess. This is not the first time. This is the second time. But the second time has a higher consequence, because because what he did was a larger thing. So I love my son, but I tell you what, this is where mommy cuts the umbilical cord right here, and my son is adopted. So this is where I tear the adoption papers in half and be like, listen, you got to fly now. Listen, this is not the life we wanted for you at all, and we did everything we could to put things in your place so that you would not in anybody's system. And what do you do now in somebody's system? It wasn't because we put you there, it's because you went. So my conscience is clear, and this is not about me. My son has to take this walk because he is choosing this walk, chosen it. So now you gotta take it. That's just what it is. I hate that these kids take these walks, but they choose these paths, Harry. And I wish I could say, he grew up with a hardship and all these other kind of things, but I can't say that. He didn't even grow up in this neighborhood where I live now. This is not his neighborhood. I chose this neighborhood. I like this vibrant neighborhood. I didn't raise my kids in this neighborhood. I raised my kids in a whole different kind of neighborhood. Just a few blocks over, which is very, very different than this. So listen, this ain't native son. I'm not gonna be crying about it.
Oh, I mean, the thing is you could only do so much.
Harry. And they make the decisions they make.
Yeah. My younger brother went through all the same mess, and he passed a year and a half. Right?
Yes.
And he made life hard on himself. I tried to shield him from. I actually took him out of the jungles of the freaking streets of Brooklyn and New York, and I tried to raise him as my son. And I was too tough. I was too tough even for my mother and my sister, who said, I was trying to treat him like I was too militant. And I'm like, well, this is what he needs right now.
He needs some real structure.
Yeah, but they pulled him out of my grips.
Oh yeah. Oh no, because he's complaining and he doesn't like it. And
yeah, right.
Well, I guess he's gonna like jail a whole lot better then.
Oh, and he was in and out.
No, see, I'm not one of them mothers, Harry. I'm not gonna be one of them mothers of long suffering. No. What's the song? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. No, no.
You know, my son has always been a good kid. He never acted out. But I had that conversation with him too. I told him, "You see what grandma goes through?
Like,
Always
I'm not
visit,
doing that.
always visiting." Right. I told him,
I'm
"You
not
go to
coming to see you.
jail. Yeah, you go to jail. I don't visit jails. I don't visit jails. I don't do anything like that. You're not gonna get no money from me. You're not gonna get anything. You're basically disowned if you go to jail." You know, and he was looking at me like, "What did I do?" But I just needed for him to hear it because I told him, "Look, I love you and all, but I'm not going out my way to suffer with you." You know?
My son's got the same message too, Harry. I said, listen, I told him, I said, listen, you get picked up for some foolishness that you know is foolishness, don't make me be your first call.
Yep.
Now, there's some things, listen, I get that Black kids can get picked up for all kinds of things. It's not their fault. But once I find out what the story is and it's by your own making, I'm done. And I done walked this boy through too much already. And I was like, you know what? This is where it ends right here. He's 23 years old. I'm like, this is your journey now, son. Now you got to find redemption on your own. And you know, he is not representative of the kids out there who don't got no family, don't have nobody, don't have a home. He can't say that. He got a whole community and a church family, you know, all the things that we say we think kids need for success. He has all of that. And to just be like, I don't care about none of that. I'm gonna do this thing. Just so you can be on your little social media site, you know, being flashy. I mean, it's just outrageous to me. And he already knew. I think when he saw my face, he was like, you know, my mother is not with this. So when the Fed guy was like, yeah, I listen to you. I know who you are. I listen to you. Because I was like, he was like, so he said some other things. And I was like, wait, hold up. He's like, oh, no, you're not implicated in none of this. He's like, oh, no, you're not implicated in any of this. I was like, because let me tell you something. I'm never going back to prison. I'm never going back. And I'm not going back on the strength of nothing or nobody. Trust me, believe me. You know, the decision, the crime that I committed 20 years ago, I was a different person. I was in a different headset. And I was a level of desperation that I will never be in again. I will never be that desperate again. You know, my son, on the other hand, is not desperate. He was not in a desperate situation. He wasn't in an impossible situation. He was just doing this because he was just stupid. I mean, just literally stupid. So that's the story today. Does my heart break? Yeah, it is, Harry. This is not what I wanted for him. This is, and I don't know any mother who, I mean, except for those except for the stuff you see on The Wire. This is not what I wanted for him. Not. So.
It's not that, and a lot of times it isn't. You know, we blame things on circumstances and stuff like that. No, that people walk through fire and make the right choices, and then some people walk in sunshine or they make the wrong choices. It's all about choices. It's literally all about choices. So, and it's about learning from the mistakes you make. But I will say this: 23 is a hard age.
It is.
For a man, for a young man, it is a hard age. And I'm over here looking at my cameras. I'm the second to last car who needs to move.
All right, go move your car.
They're looking around like, when is this guy coming out? So I gotta go move my car.
Move your car before you get it towed.
Yo.
Oh Lord. Then I have to come bail you out. I come bail you out, Harry.
Yeah, if I get it towed from my own,
Paul and I'll come bail you out.
Yeah, if I get towed from my own parking spot, it'll be an issue.
It's like, well, we told you to come, Mr. Rose.
Yeah. All
So
right.
go ahead. I'll be right here. I'm right here till 11 o'clock. So there you go. I'm right here. So yeah. So this it's been a sweet weekend. It's been a very, very sweet weekend, and a hella morning. You know, we got enough money to bail Harry out. Come on now. Well, if we have to stand on a street corner and sing some songs, and people would throw money at us just to get us off those street corners. Woo! Holy cow. Harry, you know what, Paul? This is what we should do. We should stand on the corner, one of these corners like Upper Chapel Street, and ask for money from people walking by for the radio. Like, you know, let's keep radio on the air. See how much money we can raise in a day. Oh yeah, a vegan bake sale would be ideal. Would be ideal. So yeah. So listen, I'm in a good place. Is my heart broken? Absolutely, it's broken. Because I don't know any mother who wants this for their son. I don't want this for me. But I think my son is on the path and the journey that he has got to, that he has to walk now. He has to walk this now. And I, you know, it's unfortunate that that the ways of raising up men, the ways to raise a child to a man is no longer, is harder and harder and harder to do, is exhausting to me. But I don't have another answer. He had two parents who loved him very much. You know, when we adopted him because we wanted him. And we didn't have to, but we wanted him. And we saw potential in him, and we poured everything we could. I mean, y'all see me with my children. I poured everything I could to them, arts and community and church and all the things that we say, or all the things that I believed would make him a whole, healthy, thriving person. But there are things in the street that are bigger and stronger than a mother's love. There just is, and I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to reconcile that. I don't know how to, you know, we didn't abuse him. He came from an abusive situation, but we didn't do that. We took him in from that, you know, and maybe, you know, maybe the remnants of that left something in him that was lacking. Maybe something from that time, because, you know, he was 5 when he came to us. He was 5. So he had already seen abuse. He had already seen a lifetime of abuse at 5. You know, when he came to us, he was a food hoarder because he had been a kid that was starved. So I bet you his self-worth, you know, and we put him in all kinds of therapeutic settings. Every therapeutic setting that you could imagine, we found through the connections of people I know, through Clifford Beers, through all kinds of stuff, through Dr. Deborah Bonds. I mean, we did every therapeutic thing known to man, except the horse one, except sending them to work with horses. And the food hoarding stopped, and we thought, okay, we are on a path to thriving. And then some, you know, things went down. He got caught up in some other mess, but we walked him through it. We were like, okay, he got a slap on the wrist in community service. And we were like, I always felt it should have been a harder penalty, but I was like, okay, this is what it is. You know, he had dropped out of school, I put him out of my house. I was like, listen, if you're not gonna go to school, you're gonna stay in my house. So he was out there couch surfing for about 3 months, at least 3 or 4 months. And then he came back and he talked to me. He's like, listen, I want to get my high school diploma. So I let him back in the house, got his diploma. He graduated. We were very proud. We were concerned that he could never really hold down a job, but, you know, after he graduated high school, he went to live with somewhere else. He left my house. So I didn't have any controls over what he was into or what he was doing. because he wasn't at my house. He was living with some other folks. And that went on for a good while. I mean, I'd see him periodically, like I wasn't at odds with my son. We were on good terms. So I'd see him, he'd come by. And when I told him I was giving up the house, because I wasn't going to relinquish my house until every child had graduated, or till every child got of age, because I knew I wanted them to grow up in that particular neighborhood, in that particular space. And so once they all graduated and got out into the world, I was like, okay, now I can let this house go. And I did. And I found this apartment in Newhallville, which is a very vibrant neighborhood. And I love it here. For me, at this point in my life, I'm not raising children, right? So I don't have that worry of what is my kids into. Like I worry about, I didn't have that fear or that worry because they were already grown and off into their own, doing their own thing. All of them, all four of them. So none of them were living with me. Margaret was living with her dad in Hamden, and she was going to Gateway. So but she would be here periodically, sometimes, because sometimes it'd be easier to go to class from here, from my house, than it was to get her from Hamden. So, and then the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, they all sort of circled back around and came home, all of them. And so it's been the last year or so that daughter came back. Bennett, Margot ended up staying here because her father didn't want her in and out of his house while we didn't know what COVID was. His wife has lupus, and his mother-in-law is a breast cancer survivor. So they both have compromised immune system. Margot couldn't be back and forth in their house. And so she stayed with me. She stayed with me while she was doing her thing, working and going to school. And then Gregory just came back, last summer. He just came here last summer. And Khalil was in Job Corps in Maine. They shut down. He came here, then he went back, and then he got into some trouble up there. Then he came back, but challenging to be here in my space. So he's been living with some other folks in Waterbury, I think. And the only one that's here fully is Brianna. And she's stacking her money because she's her own place. She wants her own place, while she's taking her classes and stuff. So yeah. So it's all these things. But now my son has to walk a journey which we did not want for him. I don't know any parent who wants this for their child. And to see my son handcuffed, I can't tell you. I mean, that's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. I mean, it makes me think about slavery. It makes me think about missed opportunities. It makes me think about what else could we have put in place. It makes me think about, what can I do? And there's really nothing I can do at this point, but except to sort of keep my heart light about this, and just, and when he comes back here today, I'm gonna have some real hard conversation with him, because he might not be able to stay here while he is awaiting whatever it is awaiting, and I'm not trying to throw my son away, but what he has to understand is he cannot put me in a compromised position. He cannot put me in jeopardy for foolishness. I'm not going to have it. I'm too old now, right? I'm old. And listen, I'm not ashamed or any of that. Because there are people out here making bad decisions left and right all day, every day in the world for making bad decisions. He just happens to be one of them who made a bad decision over a period of time, and he's caught up in it now. So my suggestion to him is own it, and then this is where you begin to change your life in these moments right here. You start to change your life right here. I don't think he's in that space yet, because I don't think it has hit home for him. I don't think, because I think these young people think they're invincible. Yeah, I knew when I got When I got caught up in my mess, I knew right then and there that the way that I was going to survive this is the way I survive anything. Make room and space for it and walk right through it. And don't bow my head. Don't shed a tear. Don't run from it. Don't excuse it. Don't say it was somebody. Nope, it's all on me. It's all on me. And once I was clear about that, and I was clear, I was very clear. I was very clear. Once I was clear, then I was able to get through this time. And it was difficult because it cost me so much. Cost me so much. And that's not a price I want anybody to pay. And it still costs me. It still costs me. Those decisions that I made 20 years ago still cost me to this day. But I make space for that reality. I don't shun that reality. I don't shy away from that reality. I speak about that reality, because redemption is not anything that anybody could give you. Redemption is what you give yourself. And as my then minister, Reverend Stackhouse, told me, God has already forgiven me. So I needed to forgive myself. And it took me a long time. It took me a very, very long time to get over the shame and how I hurt people and disappointed people. And there's still a couple of percent of that in me. I still feel like that I owe something more than what I have already paid. I do feel that way a little bit. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't drive my life. It doesn't color my life. I'm not stressed out over it. But I hold a little bit of that, of a great deal of remorse in my heart. I do. I don't know how else I could not hold some of that. I have to hold some of that. But I don't let it drive me. Like I don't let it stop me from smiling or laughing or enjoying a good time or making friends or being in love or any of the things that make us human and make life rich. I've not given any of that up, right? I did for a moment of time. I walked around with sackcloth and ashes, and I self-exiled myself. Like I was in exile. Like nobody saw me or heard from me for a good many years after that happened. I just felt like I was persona non grata everywhere I went. So there was no sense in me being in spaces where people could see me. And I shut up about the whole thing. I didn't wax poetic anywhere. I wasn't on anybody's platforms. I was on the internet, but I was on the internet talking about my own life, the whole totality of my life. And I was a blogger and sharing in the blog world. That was the beginning of the healing part for me. Beginning of the transformation. It was the business of, it was the beginning of redemption. And so those years were good for me. That time that I spent away from the public and had a whole internet persona and which was really just myself. I made some really good friends in the blogosphere. And that set me upon a path. And so when I came back into community, and not back into community, but when I was squarely rooted in the community and realized I could talk about things, that I could be a part of things, that I could contribute to my community ways that I was already before all of this happened, then I was just like, okay. And people sort of accepted me. Whether they accepted me or not, I was back. So, but it was a journey, and my son is young. And I don't know if he gets it fully, right? I got it. I was like 40 years old when I embezzled money. I was 43, maybe, I think, something like that. I know I was young. I wasn't 50. I was in my 40s, so 43 maybe, somewhere around there. So, and I already had a husband and a house and a mortgage and kids and blah 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 blah. And I already had my education. I already had 2 or 3 degrees under my belt. So, I wasn't starting from scratch. But my son is starting from a high school diploma and a sketchy ass work history. Boy, what are you doing? Why do you want this life for yourself? Like what life do you and I think about, did I not teach him how to dream better? Or maybe he is dreaming but does not want to do the work of what it requires to get to the dream. What's the easy way? And there's no easy way to the dream. There's easy to destruction. which is the path that he has chosen, there's an easy way to destruction. There's no easy way to dream. The eye on the prize requires work and faith and fortitude. But that makes it all the sweeter when you arrive to whatever it is you want to arrive to. So I'm baffled by this, because he's not a kid that does not understand hard work. He's not a kid that doesn't know how to get things done. No. But I think there is this sense of, I don't want to wait for all the niceties. I want them now and by any means necessary. So I have to rob and pillage my community to get it. That's what I'm gonna do. I think that is the narrative for him and so many like him that are out here. I don't want to work the way my parents worked. I want all the niceties now. They don't get delayed gratification. They don't get it. They don't get, well, work hard, save your money to buy your first car. I know what that's like. They don't get, work hard, save your money, pay for your education, that kind of. I did that. And there was no desperation in his life. I had desperation. I stood on the corner of opportunity and desperation. That's how I that's how I embezzled money. I stood on the corner of desperation and opportunity. I saw an opportunity and I was desperate enough to take it. That's what I did. I did it. And I wished, I mean, there's no wishing that I didn't, but there's a little bit of wishing that I didn't. But that's fine. But you should hold a little bit of that. Hold a little bit of it. Not till it colors your life and it makes you crazy and you can't do anything and you can't get up and you can't face the world. No, I'm not in that camp. No, I'm not in that camp. I'm always going to be sorry. And I hope that I am. I hope that I'm always sorry. Right? I hope that I'm always sorry that I hurt people and I disappointed people and I let people down and I betrayed people. I hope I'm always sorry about that. I never want to not be sorry about that. But my son, he didn't have any of that. He wasn't desperate. He didn't have kids to feed or didn't know how he was going to make his mortgage payment or any of that stuff. Like, he was living at home with his mother. Well, before he was living with me, he was living somewhere, stupid. I don't get it. And I'm his mother. I could judge him harshly because I know where he came from and I know the information that he was given and I know what we did to raise him. I know because I did it. Just feel some kind of way. But I'll carry this. But I don't carry it fully because it's not my journey. It's only a part of my journey. You know what I mean? It's like I'm on the main road, but that's a side street. Do I want my son to be locked the hell up? Hell no. Maybe. Yeah. And maybe, maybe this gives him opportunity to think long and hard about what he wants for his hope. Hope. I hope. Because I don't know what else to give him at this. I'm always going to love my son. I'm never going to disavow him or disown him. That is my son. That's it. That's it. What I'm not going to do is coddle him or make this easy for him. I'm not going to take his burden. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No. He needs a little suffering. And you would have thought that his suffering as a child would have been enough, but really it was not. So he needs everybody's got a road and a path. A road and a path. And maybe this is the road that he needs. Maybe this is the path. I don't know. I just don't know. Got to get himself together, and I hope that he does. So, all right, Harry. So we gotta get ready for our next show. We got Mr. James Michelle coming on to talk about Access Health Connecticut and all the stuff that they are doing, because they got some money, and they are going to talk about how open enrollment and doing their part around um, health equity, closing that health equity gap, which is, Harry, ever since we've been having him on our show, um, people have come up and said to me and sent me messages. I had no idea I could get health insurance for nothing, for free. I just thought I would never. There was no health insurance for me. It's baffling to me, Harry, that so many people don't access the system because they're afraid to access the system. Like there's some fear to that, right? Like you can, because they don't want to be, what it is? People don't want to go through the process and be like, oh, and by the way, you can't get health insurance. I know what that's like, because when I got divorced and I lost my benefits and I went to get health insurance before the Obamacare, Harry, I was working with my doctors to pay out of pocket. I was working with each doctor, and they had a mammogram. The state had a mammogram program. So I was doing that every year. I could get all these other tests for free every year. And I worked out payments with all of my doctors. I paid for I'm at Walmart pharmacy, Harry, still, because they had the cheapest drugs, with the prescription drugs. They had the cheapest ones. So I'm still there. Now I don't have to pay for my medication because I got the Husky, but I understand what it's like. And they were like, oh, you have pre-existing conditions, so we can't insure you. And they would say stuff like, if you lose 75 pounds, if you get rid of the diabetes, I was like, what? I was like, well, I still need to have things done. Like, we're sorry.
Oh yeah, I remember Karen and I we stood at Fairhaven Clinic for years, right? Because they always worked something out,
right,
with
right.
you. So it was like Fairhaven Clinic was our place to go to the doctor, because it was all out of pocket, and they always were reasonable to what you could pay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's some hard stuff. I'm thinking of changing my doctor now, just because I need to start getting healthy, right? Not that my doctor's a bad doctor, but she's not doesn't push. He suggests.
Even if she pushes, you're gonna push back.
No, but you see, I want somebody more strict.
Me?
Yeah, I want somebody.
You want me?
To shake me.
Because I've been shaking you for the last few years, Harry. You've been like, whatever.
So I'm thinking of just changing my doctors right now, because I don't know. I don't know.
Well, James Michelle is going to come on and he's going to talk to us about this enrollment piece that started November 1st. And he was supposed to be on last Wednesday, but I had death in I had to go bury my nephew, and I couldn't be on that day. So, yeah. So go ahead and change yourself if you want.
And you're listening to LoveBabz Love Talk on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. Go get vaccinated now.
Hurry, quick. I got my booster. So
yeah, like Joe Biden. Get vaccinated. I'm like, what? He whispers every once in a while. He just starts whispering, and I'm like, what? Why is he whispering?
What'd you say?
Yeah.
What? Go get vaccinated.
Yeah, go get vaccinated. You go. So yes. So we're gonna take a music break, switch over, start a new stream on Facebook Live. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.